Hey kids, Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. Crikey, that's a funny old start, I do apologise. Welcome to the April live stream. Bit of a tricky one this for me because it's I'm doing all sorts of fancy technical stuff this time around. This is going to be the most technically advanced live stream I've ever done. I've got a new camera, I've got a new mic, I've got new gadgets and all sorts. And in fact, I just started the thing and it all went horribly wrong. So I already had a bit of a misstart. But anyway, apologies. Hopefully you can see me now. So first thing is I can see that I've got some people already putting in comments. Could do with knowing whether you can see and hear me in the usual way. So let me just stick my glasses on so I can read some of these chats here. Here we go. Don't know yet. Oh, we've got some people saying evening. It looks like from what I can see that you can see me all right. Let me just clear. I've got so many windows open here trying to fix the problem that I just had. It's most bizarre. Anyway, so what first question is this an improvement on the last live stream you saw in terms of picture quality? And it should be, because now I've got a new camera. I'm actually doing this, you're seeing this picture via my DSLR, which I've rigged up for video use, which I'm amazed I managed to do that. I can show you what the old camera looked like, because I've now got it as a camera 2 over there. How about that then? Hopefully you can see that that's not as good a quality as the now camera 1, which is right there. Fancy that, isn't that good? Anyway, I don't want to go on and on about the technology because that's just sort of stuff that amuses me. We've got the usual live stream for you. Loads of questions to get through. Happy to talk about anything you like. Before we get on to that though, I must just give a shout out to the Brassett brothers. They were watching live last time. I think it was the first time that they both actually caught me live, and I said that I'd give them a mention. So hello to you guys. Thanks for watching. And as usual, it'd be great if I can find out who gets the prize for the most unsociable time of night for watching. Let me know where you're viewing from and what time of day it is there. That always amuses me as well, and also just lets me know that you can see and hear me. Oh, somebody's saying, no worries, says I look a bit yellow. Okay. What else have we got? Mark Pulling, hi everyone. Lickety Stream Bro, says Sam Vincent. Okay, thank you. Driving to work in Sydney is Dean. I hope you're not watching this, Dean, while you're driving. That's outrageous, but I'm liking your commitment. What else have we got? Handsome, thank you very much, Dan. Don't forget to mention the sponsorship. Oh, that's Paul. I seem to remember he was here a few months back, wasn't he, saying that every other comment? Thank you for that. Netherlands 2100. What else have we got? California, it's noon. Thank you. Atlanta. Oh, thank you, Rutger. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Straight in the fuel tank. Hey, Graham. Thank you. Thanks for that. Good to see you. Hope the bike's running all right. Well, I haven't been out on it yet. Weather was nice today. Great. Okay, so looks like we have liftoff, so that's excellent. All right, so before we get into questions, and do start giving me some questions on the live stream so I can pick them up. And as usual, I've got a few questions from last time that I didn't answer that I'll kick off with when I get to the questions. But before then, I want to do a bit of a temperature check. It's on the thorny old subject of Patreon. Now, this is something that comes up from time to time. Occasionally, I get people saying, when are you going to do a Patreon thing so that we can give you some cash, which is amazing. That's great that people say that. And then I get people say to me, oh, I hope you don't go down the Patreon route like all those others. That ruins things. So I've always been a little bit shy of Patreon, to be honest. I haven't done it so far, but it's in the back of my mind because what would be great if I could raise a bit of money doing this YouTube stuff. I might be able to afford a little project bike that I could do some work on in the winter and make some videos, and indeed it would help fund some of the trips and tours that I do. So it would be great if I could afford it, but I don't want to do something that's going to really annoy you lot. So if you're watching my live stream, I'm assuming that you're people that watch my videos on a relatively regular basis, as opposed to just stumbling across this video, which you may have done. If you have, welcome. So what I'm saying is you're the people that I really care about, not annoying with the whole Patreon thing. If I were to go down that route, would it really wind you right up, and should I not do it, or should I do it? And if I did do it, it would be very low key. I wouldn't mention it all the time. It would just be in the background. I would just probably have a 1 or 2 tiers of membership, which would be like the lowest, $1 a month or whatever, so $12 a year. I don't know what the perks would be. I haven't thought it through yet, but before going into any detail, putting any effort into it, I just wanted to check with you whether you thought Patreon was a goer or not. Just wanted to test the water, so I'll be very interested if you could either let me know in the live stream top chat type comments that are coming up, and I'll see them. I'll read those once this video is posted on YouTube. I'll watch this back again tomorrow and just make sure I've captured everything. Or indeed, if you're watching the recorded version, stick a comment down below. Let me know what you think of Patreon. Should I not go there? Should I go there? Don't you care either way? That would be great to find out that. Okay, let's do a couple of... actually, before I get on to the questions, let me just see what comments are coming through, if I can read them. I've got that awkward thing where I've got the comments that are coming up are the wrong distance for me to read without my glasses, and with my glasses on, I can't read them either. Yes for Patreon, says Lawrence. You deliver, I pay, no problem, says Tim. Thank you, Tim. Good day from Calgary. Hello, Malcolm. David says no, but you must do what you need to do. What else have we got? Thank you for your Speed Twin review. I went and purchased one. Oh, excellent. Plymouth Janet evening, where do you see... Oh, gone. John Skeet, no doubt we can give you money on the live stream. You can indeed, John. Again, I just don't... I feel uncomfortable about asking for it. It's fantastic when people do give you these top chats. It's brilliant and it all helps. But, you know, you ain't going to catch me asking for money. It just feels wrong. No Patreon for me. Your call, of course, says Paul. Understood. What else have we got? Would remove all other commercials, says Tim. Yep, that's one way of doing it. I do make a little bit of cash from commercials. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but in terms of money you make, I don't know about others, but it might be a UK thing or it might be to do with my channel, but I make about £1 per 1,000 views. So on a typical video, I might get, say it's you know, just a vlog or something, I might get 10 to 15,000 views. So I might make 10 to 15 pounds for that video. I do 2 videos a week, so that's £30 a week. So you're not making a lot of money, but at the same token, if I were going to turn off adverts, it would turn off that 30 quid. So that means I've got to have, if it's 30 a week, what's that, 120 a month? That's 120 Patreons I'd have to justify turning off the advertising. So these are the sort of little questions that you have to answer in your mind. It's a great problem to have. I'm absolutely thrilled that I've got to this stage with YouTube where people are actually watching, and I just passed 30 million total views, which blew my mind. So thank you very much indeed for watching and continue to watch. Got some great stuff coming up, by the way. I'll do some Parish Notices at the end to let you know what's coming up on the channel, and I've got a few things in the can that are absolute pearlers that I'm really looking forward to sharing with you. All right, on to the questions then. Let me see what questions we've got coming in on the live stream, and if there isn't any questions, I'll go on to the ones from before. So here we go. Ian Porter, evening TMF. Would love to see project build. Yes, Ian, I'd like to do that, but again, it costs money, and I haven't got any these days because I don't work. Ainsworth Rider, you're up to 50p now. Thank you very much. What was that? What does that mean? I've got 500 viewers, have I? Perhaps. I don't know. How do I find that out? I can never know. Oh yeah, 483 watching it. Yes, that's brilliant. Yes, that's 50 pence that I've earned from this one. That's absolutely superb. Yeah, lost weight, mate, says Sean. Yeah, you're not the first to notice that. I'm so glad you noticed it, because I have 2.5 stone. In fact, I started in October, and by Christmas I'd lost 2.5 stone. Do you ever go to the Ace, says Tony. And Per says, any trips coming up? I'll answer those both. So Per, any trips coming up? Yes. I've just got back actually last week from Tuscany in Italy. Did a fantastic tour down with Tuscany Motorcycle Tours. I'll talk a bit about it in Parish Notices, but I've got that tour coming up soon. I finished editing those episodes today. A cracking tour series coming up. So if you like my tour series, that one's on the way. And then the other question was, do I go down the Ace or up the Ace? Pretty across to, I think, from me. I've been there once, and I didn't have a great experience, to be honest with you. Sorry, I can't remember who asked the question, but when I went, the service was a bit rubbish. It seemed an amazing place, full of character. I really liked it, and the food was good, but my goodness me, I waited about an hour before I got it. I did actually make a video of it. It was ages ago, though. It was about possibly 4 years ago on my street triple. So there is a video of my visit to the Ace. I can't remember what it's called. If you Google something like Ace Cafe Never Again or something, I think you might see it. But so I haven't been back since then, but I don't want to say, you know, everything's worth a second chance, isn't it? So I'm not going to say that it's rubbish based on one visit. I will go again, and I'll give them another chance for sure. Oh, thank you, Barry. That is very kind of you indeed. Wow, that is very generous. Thank you. So yeah, so I have been to the Ace. I will go again. In fact, maybe that's where I should do a TMF meetup. This is something else that I struggle with. I keep getting asked when are we going to do a TMF meetup, and I do quite like the idea of it, I must admit. My issue is I don't know who would turn up and how many would turn up. So, you know, there could be 10, there could be 100. Who knows? So, you know, and if there's a lot, it could cause a problem. Not wishing to blow my own trumpet, but, you know, there might be quite a few people potentially would turn up. So I'd have to be very careful about the venue. But somewhere like the Ace Cafe could be a go, couldn't it? I was thinking about talking to some organisations that can handle people and maybe doing a joint thing. I mean, I haven't spoken to them, but I even thought about people like the Bike Shed. I haven't been there yet either. I must go and say hi to those guys. Whether I could do a meet up there, or maybe one of the dealers, one of the big dealerships that's got plenty of space, or even a pub that's got plenty of space. And there are a few candidates around here that potentially we could use as a sort of summer meet-up. Anyway, something else I'm toying with. We'll see how that goes. All right, let me just check what's happening on the live stream then. Kenny Stewart, Tuono versus SDR. You have a blast on both. Do you have an opinion as to the better bike? Good question, Kenny, and one that's been asked quite a lot, and I'm not sure I've given a satisfactory answer. I don't know if I've got a satisfactory answer for myself. So this is the Ktm Super Duke R, which is a beast of a bike. In fact, when KTM launched it, they called it the beast, didn't they? Let me just have a swig of my coffee, hang on. And it is a beast. Problem I have with KTMs is I don't really much like the way they look. The Super Duke R rides amazingly. It is a brute of a bike. It's absolutely brilliant. But I'm just not that head over heels with the looks of it. And to me, a bike has to look right. You know, it's a purchase of a bike is a heart purchase, isn't it? If it doesn't look right, I'm not interested. I think out of all the KTMs, the Super Duke R is probably the closest to a good-looking bike that I've seen. So I'm tempted. I'm not saying it's ugly by any means. It just doesn't grab me in the same way as, say, an R1 or a Panigale or an R9T does. But it is an amazing bike. And then the Tuono, on the other hand, I do like the looks of. Interesting, I've published a few videos of late about the Tuono, and I've had quite a few comments from people saying that they just can't get on with the looks of it. Don't like the nose cone, don't like the lettering up the side, etc. And I find that amazing because I think it looks a beautiful bike. To me, it's like a comfortable sports bike, and I think it looks great. So, and again, it rides amazing as well. So out of those two, I think purely on the looks thing, I'll probably go for the Tuono. I just think the Tuono says Italian Exotica. It's more of an occasion when you ride it. It's got incredible brakes. It's got, I mean, the swing arm is kind of polished aluminium. It looks really nicely built. It's more of an occasion to me when you ride the Tuono than it is the Super Duke R. I'm not saying it's not an occasion when you ride the Super Duke R, because it is a beast of a bike and it's a leery, hairy, grown-ups bike, and I love it. So it's very close between those two. I think the Tuono by Whisker, so that was a long answer. All right, what else we got? Hello from Reading, says Mark. Hello, Mark. Are you considering any new bikes, says Max R. I am indeed. I'm always considering new bikes, aren't we all? And part of what I like about buying new bikes is the fact that you have to do your market research, and I've effectively been doing market research ever since I started this channel by riding all these bikes. And there are plenty of candidates out there. There are some lovely new bikes out there. Top of my list at the moment are things like the new Triumph Scrambler, the 1200. I've just ridden the Ducati 1100 Scrambler. I rode that out in Tuscany. I also did a review of that, which will be coming up soon. That surprised me, that bike. I didn't like the Scrambler originally, but the 1100 is a different bike. That's now in the frame. I mentioned before, I like the R9Ts. There's all sorts of bikes, not just retro ones. Oh, thank you very much, Patrick. Very kind of you. There's not just the retros that I like as well, but there's all sorts of other bikes out there that are floating me boat. So, like the R1, for example, or the new Panigale V4R is an amazing bike. All the Panigales, in fact, are. So yeah, there's plenty of bikes. And then the top runner, the bike that I'm really interested in, also like the Nortons, by the way, the 650s. Those are other bikes. I'm also quite interested by some of the 125 retros that we see coming out. In particular, the Bullet. Have you seen the Bullet Scrambler? That's a lovely looking bike. I'd love a go on one of those. They're a bit physically bigger than some of the other 125s. Quite tempted by one of them. But anyway, the bike that I'm really excited about and what I really want to learn more about on May the 1st when Triumph tell us about it is the new Triumph Factory Custom. What's it? The triple, the big one. You know the one I mean. Oh, I can't believe it's just gone out of my head. Somebody will tell me what it's called in a minute. You know the the Rocket 3, there we go, got there in the end. The new Rocket 3, they brought out this Triumph Factory Custom version of it. It looks absolutely amazing. They're apparently going to launch more details about it on May the 1st. I'm hoping they're not going to tell us just about the Rocket, the Triumph Factory Custom version, but also the production version, because there's no way they're just going to do a TFC version. There'll be a production version too. I want to see what the pricing is. I imagine the TFC version is going to be very expensive. I'm thinking upwards of 18 grand. I haven't got that sort of money anymore, sadly. Unless I can do something clever. So that may be out of the question, but it might be that the standard model, when it comes out in 2020, I've already started to introduce my missus to the idea I might want an expensive new bike, so you know that's going quite well. So it might be one of those. Obviously that's without riding it. That's because I haven't got a cruiser in the stable, and I just love the idea of having a big old muscle bike, so that's also at the top of the list. Again, long answer. Hopefully that's given you my current thinking. But I love all bikes. I'm not ruling out anything. Anything could be there. there. All right, what else we got coming in? Ian Griffith says the new Fantics look cool. Yeah, absolutely agree. Again, it's that same style of cheap, small capacity bike, isn't it? I love small capacity bikes. They're not to be overlooked. They're great fun. Matt Cox, at what point is too much mileage on a bike? You don't often hear of bikes with loads of miles on them. Good question, Matt. There's no doubt bikes don't seem to go as long as cars, do they? Although there are examples of bikes that have got tens of thousands of miles on them. I know my pal Richie Vida, his beloved Honda VFR, I think he's done something like, correct me if you're wrong, Richie, if indeed you're watching, which you may not be, I think he's done sort of 70,000 miles on it. Is it still going strong? There's no reason why, if you look after your bike and you service it according to the schedule, it can't last for hundreds of thousands if you treat it right. But you're quite right, you don't often see that many bikes with high mileages, and that's mostly, I guess, because people don't ride them as much as they would drive a car if they had one. I personally, if I was buying a bike, a second-hand bike, I wouldn't be put off by a high miler if it had a good service history and everything else checked out on it. I think it's as much about the person selling the bike as the bike itself. If they seem like reasonable people, the sort of people that wouldn't have skimped on it, have looked after it, then I would certainly take a punt on a bike that had 50,000 miles. If it had 150, I'm not so sure. So I guess the answer to your question is between the two. Between 50 and 150 is too many miles. Be interested to hear your view on that. 84,000 says Tony for Rich's VFR. Wow. And I don't think he's got any plans to get rid of that. So it just shows you it is well possible. Be interested. Again, that's another great one for the comments, actually, to go in the top chat or the comments below if you're watching the recorded version. What do you think too many miles is for a bike? Often, if you see a bike in the classifieds that's got like 20,000 miles, that's regarded as a high miler, which to me is nuts. My BMW GS I still regard to me as a new bike, and I think I've done 24,500 on that. To me, if it doesn't do 50, I'll be very disappointed. Anyway, I don't know if you mentioned, I did ask for any feedback. 91,000 on somebody's Blackbird there. Thank you, Paul. Excellent. 130,000, Stuart, on a VFR. So there we go. Some big old mileages there. That's fantastic. 500,000 on a BMW R80, says Jeff. Unbelievable. 30,000 is too much. I wouldn't buy it after that, says Matt. Well, I think ruling it out, you could be missing some good bikes there. Dave says there's a Yank on YouTube done over 100,000 on his V-Strom. Wow. All on condition. Got an O2 XJR with 58,000. 144,000 on a VFR there. So yeah, wow. There are some high milers out there. So that's great stuff. Can somebody let me know what you're thinking of this new picture quality, by the way, because I can only see my local picture. Obviously, it looks all right to me. I have to manually focus this camera, and there's all sorts of technical gubbins to do with delay with audio and stuff. Is my audio and picture in sync, and is it a marked improvement over the old camera? Just to remind you what the old camera looked like, here we go. That's camera 2. It's over there these days. I've got that there in case camera 1 blows up or something. Is this looking any worse than camera 1, which looks like that? Alrighty, okay, great picture, says Roger, thank you. Looks smooth, says Max. Great picture and audio, says Tim, thank you. Good, alright, so it looks like that's working perfect, says Lee. Looks great, and all in sync, Phil says. Brilliant. I'm pleased about that. It's the syncing issue that was worrying me. I had to do all sorts of clever stuff with delays to try and make the picture and sound sync up. So glad that's working. You look older in the other ones. Oh, that's good. Maybe that's to do with the lighting. On this particular camera that I'm talking to you on now, I've got a light shining right on my face to pick up the little highlights in my eyes, and hopefully that just lights it up better. Okay, back to bikes. Cliff, he's got 155,000 on his Varadero. William Moore says cam 1 is great. Thank you, William. Womble, A-OK, new cam looking good, says Craig. Takes years off you. Somebody earlier on a comment on one of my videos, can't remember which one it was, said they were trying to guess how old I was, and they said they thought I looked 61, and I couldn't work out. It was a foreign gentleman. I couldn't work out whether they're being serious or not. Do you think I look 61? If so, I need to change my camera again. Picture is awful. Some old git has taken over the screen, says Dave. Maybe I am looking 61. Alan, also superb. You look like a teenager. Oh my goodness me, here we go. Flattery will get you everywhere, Alan. Nice one. All right, let me answer a couple of questions from my list from before, because I did promise these people I'd answer their questions, then I'll come back to the live stream in a sec. All right, first one from Cub Rider. Hello, Cub Rider, if you're watching. We met back at the NEC show back in November. Really nice fella. He said to me here, classic TT offer is still available, pal. So thank you, Cub Rider. What that's all about is he actually is part of a team that takes part in the classic TT, and he said to me if I ever wanted to go to the Isle of Man TT, he could probably wangle it so I could go into the pits and see his team in action. He knew lots of the organisers. He might be able to get me to some of the interesting places, which sounds an amazing offer, and I've thought about this a lot since we met, and and I've got your number still, and I've been meaning to phone you. It's just events have overtaken me. It's been a really busy year with stuff, and I've kind of missed the boat now because I've got stuff planned throughout until, would you believe, I have a schedule of stuff that I'm doing for the Missenden Flyer channel up until now February. I know what videos I'm publishing every week up until February, which is ridiculous. I can move things around, so it's not set in stone, but just shows you how stuff builds up. But every year I say I must go to the TT, whether it's the TT or the Classic. Either way, I'd love to go. I've never been to the Isle of Man. How can I be a biker living in the UK and not been to the Isle of Man TT? I must do that. So if the offer's still open next year, Cub Rider, maybe we can do it then. But thanks very much for reminding me, and I hadn't forgotten, believe me. Next one, Chris Lambert. Hello, Chris. He says, can we see the model bike on your shelf? So by which I think you're referring to, where is it? Oh, I can't see. It's behind me. Let me get it. I'll show you. Here we go. This little puppy here. Blimey, it needs a dust. As you can see, it's a BMW GS. And in fact, it is, believe it or not, when I bought this, it was an official BMW part. And it's really well made. And if you like this sort of thing, you know, suspension works, although it doesn't necessarily work on the real bike. Oh, let's not say that. The steering works. What sort of stand goes up and down. It's made of metal bits. You can actually look underneath it. I've never looked underneath a GS before, so you can see what they actually look like. And it is a great little model. I bought it, of course, because it's the same colour as mine. And I even stuck on my number plate on the back. Just how sad am I? That's the sort of thing I do. So yeah, it's an official. Was in the BMW parts catalogue. I don't know if it still is now, because of course the 1250's taken over. Whether they've produced a model of that, I don't know. But I'm really chuffed that I bought it, because if they don't make it as a model anymore, it's just a great little reminder of my bike. So if and when I do sell my GS, I shall have this to remind me of the old thing. So yeah, that's what that's all about. Stay. I'll pop that there. Don't ask to see that Mustang, because that is the model of the Mustang there is a prize-winning model, which I can't really move. Anyway, that's another question. Okay, so that was Chris. One more from here, then I'll come back to the live stream. Ashley Holtz, hello Ashley, says, when is the next Biker Scram with Jeff and Dan? Brilliant series. Well, rather opportune that you should mention that, because in fact I was out with Jeff and Dan just last week filming the next Biker Scram with Jeff and Dan. We had a great time, and it's a classic one, I think. And in fact, it's a two-parter, which makes it even better. The first part is the normal Biker Scram with Jeff and Dan. We go to a cafe in Oxfordshire this time and check that out in the usual way. And then the second part is we're actually going to the Matisse Workshops. Matisse are a British motorcycle manufacturer, very small scale, but they've been around for ages. Came from the late 1950s, from the motocross side of things. Anyway, we got to look around. We met the owner. We got to look around the factory and look at those bikes being built. Absolutely amazing. So that's the next Biker Scram with Jeff and Dan. As I say, recorded last week. It's actually scheduled at the moment, actually, for May the 2nd is when that one's going to go live, or at least the first part, and then the second part will follow closely on. So as I say, it's in the schedule for then. It may move a day or two, but around about May the 2nd is when I'm planning that one at the moment. Right, back to the live stream then. What have we got going on here? Tony, H Cafe. No, it wasn't that one. We did that. The H Cafe, by the way, I think it was the prototype of Biker Scram with Jeff and Dan. If you, again, look through my back catalogue, in my Biker Scram playlist, you should see an H Cafe visit. It's the first one we ever went to. Tim Roman, all that British food. Yeah, sorry about that, Tim. I can't remember, Tim, where you are. Are you in Germany? Just trying to think, or are you in Holland? I can't quite remember. I do apologise, and I know you're a regular contributor to the channel. Yeah, I mean, if you're in Germany, I'm not taking any of that, because actually the food's pretty good in Britain these days. Rutger, you guys are too kind. Oh, blimey, it's all happening now. Thank you very much indeed for these. I think they're called super chats, aren't they, when people will give you money on this? It's very kind indeed. When are you coming to ride the Wild Atlantic Way in Ireland? All the best from Steve 6 in County Kerry. Yeah, again, that was on the plan for this year, Steve. Really wanted to do that. I haven't got around to doing it. I've got a slot in my diary to do one trip in the summer. And I'm not quite sure yet where it's going to be. I promised to go back to the Western Isles of Scotland. Last year or the year before, I tried to get up to some of those outer islands, but got stymied by ferries that were booked. I want to give that another try, so that's possibly top of the list. I also want to go back to Wales. I haven't been there for ages. It's always good riding there. Scotland generally is fantastic. Maybe I could do the Irish one. I'm trying to sync it up with something else, so it's a bit tricky. I might even do the north of England. I'm not sure. Northumbria and places like that sort of appeal as well. So I'm not quite sure when I'm going to get round to doing the Wild Atlantic Way. Have you seen Richie Vida's series on that? He did that recently. So maybe that's one for next year, but it's definitely in the bucket list. I will get there at some point if It probably won't be this year now, but maybe next. So thanks for the question. Thank you for the super chat. What else have we got coming in? What's the most miles you've ridden in a day? Shade over 700 for me, says Jeff. Funny you should mention this, Jeff. I'm not going to tell you. And the reason is, as you may recall, I write a little column for MCN every month. And funnily enough, I've just written a column on this very subject. And I can't remember whether it was... oh, what's this one here? Richard says, Lyndon says hi, just spent 10 days riding Spain with Toro. Excellent. Hello back to you, Lyndon, if you're watching. I hope you had a good time, and I hope you mentioned that, I hope you said that I sent you there, if indeed I did. Yeah, it's great riding out there. How about Cornwall, says Daniel. So I've diverted. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, so the high mileage question. Yeah, so I've got an article in MCN coming up on that, so I'll wait until that's gone out, and then I'll tell you. I don't want to blow my steam on that one. Rutger asked a super chat question. You didn't answer. Oh, sorry. Rutger, ask your question again, and hopefully I'll see it. Sorry if I missed it. As I mentioned before, I will look at all the super chats, all these questions that come up. I'll watch the recorded version. I'll record them. Any super chats I miss, I will get them noted down. I will answer them on next month's super chat if I miss them this time round. So apologies. It's actually quite difficult to do this, to talk, watch everything that's going on, make sure the technology is behaving, and answer questions and stuff at the same time. So apologies, it's a bit like rubbing your head and tapping your stomach or whatever, you know what I mean. Sue, TMF, you're looking very svelte. Oh, Sue, you're too kind. I've so few females watching my channel. In fact, when I last looked, I think it's 3.7% of my views are from females. So to have one say that, it's very good news indeed. Thank you very much. Portugal in the summer is great for riding, says Miguel Galamba. Hopefully I'm probably not getting your second name right there, Miguel. Apologies. But I'm guessing you maybe are in Portugal. Is that correct? I've never ridden in Portugal. In fact, I've only visited there for work purposes. I went to Porto and stayed on an industrial estate for a couple of days. So I need to go back there. I'm sure there's more to Portugal than that. Yeah, and I'd love to do that. In fact, that might be one I have to tap up my friends at Toro Adventure for, because that's one of the destinations that they do on I think one of their Stress Buster tours, and that would be something that would be brilliant to do. I'd definitely love to go to Portugal again. So yeah, okay. Oh, Miguel, thank you. Well said. Maybe I was close. I'm not going to attempt your second name again in case I ruin it. James Perkins, Peak District is our more than often ride outs you have been. Sorry, I didn't get that quite right. Yeah, Peak District is great. I've ridden there quite a bit, and I have got videos on my channel. I don't know how long you've been watching, but you may have missed those. But Peak District, definitely got to get up there again. The beauty of the Peak District is it doesn't take me very long to get to. You know, it's not like it's a whole day before I get there. I can get there in half a day and then start riding. So over a long weekend, I can get the Peak District done. So yeah, I must do that. Must get up there again. Where's that place where they do the big bike meet? Something Bath, isn't it? Bath... I can't remember the name. You know the one where it's that valley and all the bikes park. Must go back there and try and do that again. Anyway, booked up on Dell's Harley yet, says Lod Dude. No, I'm not. I know, I keep appealing every time, don't I, for that. And have you seen it now? Now he's finished that bike. It looks amazing. But I am... Oh, Matlock Bath. Thank you, Mr. Job 2000. Or JPB 2000. That was it. Matlock Bath. That was the one. Oh, goodness me. Look, hundreds of people telling me it was Matlock Bath. Brilliant. Just check, see how things are going on the technology front. So according to this, it says my stream health is amber, which I think is between green and red. So that sounds okay to me. What else we got? It says I've got 752 people watching, which is brilliant. Thank you. And I've been on for about half an hour. So how long do you want me to witter on for? I could witter on here literally all night because I love doing this stuff. But I won't. We'll see how we go to the top of the hour, but let me know if you want me to shut up. What is your best helmet, says John Skeet. Well, that's a question. That's a bit like, what's your favourite child, isn't it? It depends what bike you're riding. I tend to wear different helmets for different bikes. At the moment, and I go through phases, so sometimes one helmet's my favourite, sometimes another is. So the helmets that I keep in here, which you can see sort of behind me, in fact, this could be... I could be really clever and try and point my camera to at them, couldn't I, and have a separate thing? No, I won't try that. It'd be too difficult. But yeah, they're the ones I tend to ride mostly with, the ones behind me. At the moment, my favourites are my beloved Tour X4, the Array, for my from a BMW, and for the dirt bike generally. The peak is just useful for touring because it keeps the sun at your eyes. And then I'm torn on the other one, on the other bikes, on my Panigale and my Street Triple. I tend to wear either the Shoei with the multicoloured one. Let me just grab it. I'm grabbing it because I can't remember what it's called. It's a Shoei NXR. I just think it looks lovely. It's got some lovely detail on it. It's quite an expensive helmet. And this is the one at the moment that I've got my vlogging camera fixed to. So if I'm going out to do some vlogging, then this is the camera Sorry, this is the helmet I'll grab purely because it's got that mounted on it at the moment. It's a lovely helmet. Shoei's fit me well. I think it looks good. It's comfortable. It's got a pin lock. I can see out of it nicely. Great, great helmet. Love that. So that's one of my favourites. And then the other one, oh, what's this? Enjoyed your videos on the locks in Scotland. Thank you very much indeed for that. Thank you. This is my next possible favourite helmet, the HJC, and this is the Rafa 11, RPHA 11. I pronounce it Rafa 11. I think that's what it's called. Let me just check. Yeah, Rafa 11. I love this helmet because it's nice and light. This doesn't have my camera on it at the moment, although it has got a mount. I have vlogged with this before. But this tends to be, I went out for a ride today on my Panigale at lunchtime. It was a beautiful day here. Roads were dry. It was getting warm. It got to 14 degrees, which for this time of year around here, it's quite warm. I've got new tyres on it that desperately need scrubbing in. I've got some wicked chicken strips on it. So this was the helmet I went for because it's nice and light. When you're on the sports bike and your head's tilted down, I can see out the top nicely on this. And I'm not encumbered by having the camera on it because I wasn't going to do any vlogging. I don't always film when I go out on my bikes. In fact, I ride my bikes far more often without a camera on than I do with. So that's my second favourite helmet. So as I say, it sort of swaps between them, and it depends what bike I'm on. If I was on a cruiser, it would be the Shark helmet. So there we go. Anyway, that's a long answer. Hope that made sense. Right, blimey, all this action going on during the live stream. It's dangerous. Let me just finish my coffee. Hang on. Oh, that's gone horribly cold. Let me just answer another question from... Actually, I better just check what's going on in the live chat because I see things whizzing by. What have we got here? Rutger says true. So I've missed your question again, Rutger. Charles, answer Rutger Fly. Well, I will do if I can only see what the question is. Dave Knight, where is Rutger? Walter Wilkins, sitting here in lovely Malaga, Spain. If only a bike was. Unlucky, Walter. Go and see Lyndon. He's not far away from me. He'll let you borrow a bike. Go Rutger says no worries. What else have we got? I wonder if there's a way I can look back and see what Rutger's question was. My son has an RPHA and he loves it. Great value. What are the books you said on a previous video that you have published? Also, could you do a long-term review on the Trump Speed Twin? What are the books you said? Or did I mention that? I have published a book about learning to fly. It's on Amazon. You can go and look. If you look up Learning to Fly, you'll see that book. Please do buy a copy. I do sell a few every now and then. You can get it in electronic form or paperback. When is the multi-enduro review coming? Soon. It's in the can. It will be... It's probably... Actually, it's not that soon. It's about 4 or 5 weeks, if I remember rightly. I'm still waiting to see if somebody's going to tell me Rutger's question. I'm just watching these comments until it comes up. Rutger is taking over the show. Go, Rutger. Gosh, if only I knew what he'd said. Best KTM in your opinion, Black Pudding us. KTM Super Duke, not Super Duke, the Duke 390. I know it's a small one. Brilliant, brilliant bike. Bit late, did you miss me, says Colin. Rutger, can I get your opinion on the MV Augusta Brutale? I've got Italian fever. I hope that was the question. And unfortunately, I'm going to disappoint you because I've never ridden it. All I can say, Rutger, is it's an absolutely lovely looking bike. I love the looks of those MV Augustas. What did I ride? What was that MV Augusta I rode on the Reader's Rides? Was that the Brutale? Can't remember. Could have been. I'll need to do a bit of swatting up for you, Rutger, on that one, and I'll come back to you. TMF, you must come to Israel. Perfect weather for motorcyclists. Yeah, I bet it would be. Hot, though. A bit too hot, isn't it, in Israel? Never been to Israel. What else? He got it. Thank you. Good. All right, the Dragster. That was the one I rode, wasn't it, the Dragster? And you're talking about the... Which one are you talking about? Anyway, the thing is, though, with those MVs, Rutger, is they do have a bit of a reputation for... not being very reliable, and even the one that Max brought around when we did that Reader's Rides, if you remember rightly, it had been in the workshop for a year under warranty before he got his hands on it. So I'm not saying I haven't got any personal experience of this. I'm only going by what I've heard. I would be put off a little bit by what seems to be a reputation for unreliability, but they do look absolutely amazing, don't they? So we'll see. I mean, don't let me put you off. Go and ride one. If you've got one. You know, if you've got a dealer nearby that you trust, then that's good news. The dealers in the UK seem to be a bit few and far between. I'm not even sure where my local dealer is I don't think there is one. So hence why I haven't ridden many of them. So yeah, I'd be a little bit careful on that. They look lovely, that's for sure. They do look beautiful, don't they? Italians really know how to design bikes, and that is a beautiful looking bike. What else have we got? The book here, Lone Rider, that Sue has recommended, is getting a bit of love from Hedgehog as well. I haven't read that book actually. I'll look back over the comments, get the author again, and I'll read that, let you know what I think. Walter Wilkins, what's your opinion about the escalating costs of decent gear? I was going to buy the new Ktm one-piece suits, but yikes, the price. Yeah, Walter, good point. I hadn't noticed that gear really was going up that much. You can now get some much better quality, cheaper gear. I'm a big fan of RST kit, and also, as you will have noticed, Oxford kit. These guys don't sponsor me or anything. They don't pay me to say nice things about them, although they have sent me kit to review for free, for sure. But that kit is excellent value, in particular the Oxford suit, the one I've been wearing for the last couple of years. I took it to Norway when it was really hot. I've ridden throughout the winter with it. It's called the Oxford Mondial suit. The reason why it's so good value is because it's one of these laminated suits. It doesn't have a waterproof liner, you know, gets drenched on the outside, and then you've got a waterproof liner to keep you dry. It is actually waterproof, and that is, you know, for the jacket, it's something like 300 quid. It's a real bargain. So you can, if you know where to look and you look at the right places, you can get cheaper good kit these days. But I agree, the stuff like the Ktm stuff, or Climb, I call it Ktm, is super expensive, isn't it? But you know, there's an argument, is there, to say you get what you pay for. If you look what police riders wear, it tends to be things like the Ktm stuff. I know RJ's a big fan of it, isn't he? I'm sure it's excellent stuff, but it is eye-wateringly expensive, I agree. Too expensive for me. I couldn't justify a couple of grand on kit. That is just way out of the ballpark. Locks says, I think Oxford fits well. Yeah, I guess it depends on shape. It fits me perfectly well. Exeter Biker says, I have Oxford. You get a lot for your money. Yeah, I completely agree. Oxford, great fit for a UK biker, says Bikers933. We've got a vote for Revit Gear. Never used their stuff. I haven't heard anything bad about it. Don't see why it shouldn't be. Are you doing the Bike Shed live at Tobacco Dock in late May? I saw an advert for that on social media earlier today, actually. I thought I must go to that. But again, oh, Rutger, you guys in chat were fantastic helping getting my question noticed. Wanted to say thanks. Yeah, that's the way to do it, Rutger. Well done. Sorry about that. Oh, yeah, RJ could well wear Rucker. Rucker and Ktm, in my mind, are both similar, you know, similar quality, similar cost, aren't they? Same with the police as well. They wear both types, I think. Anyway, there we go. An Oxford, not at Oxford, says the Bingley Wheelers. Sorry, did I say at Oxford? That's not like me. 783 looking in now, says Sue. Oh, yeah, quick. Oh, 778 it says here. Watching. That's great, isn't it? One of these days I'll get over 1,000 on the live stream. That's my dream. My ultimate goal is to get 1,000 people watching at once. That would be great. But I have to say, 778 will do me. If there were 778 people sitting in an auditorium in front of me, I wouldn't be talking like this to you, I can tell you. Isn't that wild that we can do this at all? The technology is amazing, isn't it? And it did take me a bit of doing to set the camera up to do it like this, and I'm hoping that when I watch this back, I'll notice the improved picture quality. I thought the streaming might be an issue. I thought my internet connection might let me down, but it seems to be going okay at the moment. But then my kids are out at the moment. Oh, hello. Something funny. Having said that, I spoke too soon. Something funny has gone on over here. It might be if oh, there you go. It's happened there as well. Let me emergently. Oh, there we go. Let me hit that button, which is something that which I specifically programmed because I thought this might be a problem. And let me go to the other camera. There we go. There. Right, we're on camera 2 because it looks like I had a problem with camera 1. Just as we were saying that things were going well with that new with the new setup, it failed, and this is why I've got this separate camera here. Just bear with me. I'm going to turn the other camera on and off, and I'll come back and we'll see what happens. This is you got to love live streaming, haven't you? Just stand by. I'm not gone anywhere. I'm just going to put the full screen up again while I just turn the other one off. Hang on. Right, okay, I'm back. Let's try cam 1 again. Oh, looks like it might be working now. Excellent. Now, I don't know how long it'll last. I suspect I was playing around with this setup before we started. I hope you can see me back now. Good. I was playing around with this setup before we started to see how it works. And there's all sorts of fiddles you have to do to make a DSLR work as a video camera long term. Because normally after 30 minutes, it shuts down anyway, which may have been what that did. But also, they get very hot. And it may be an overheating issue. It could just be plugged in. Anyway, we'll see. Okay, I'm just reading some of the comments now to see what you said. What is going sorted, says Diesel. Yeah, Sue, back now. You knocked it, I think, or something. Yeah, possibly. I don't know. Interesting. Anyway, just shows you I was wise to have my little fault card ready, wasn't I? Isn't that good? I'm using something called a Stream Deck. Again, I don't want to. If you're not interested in this stuff, because this is a biker channel, but obviously I'm interested in YouTube and how you do stuff, and live streaming fascinates me. So I bought this new gadget called a Stream Deck. It allows me to do these different camera angles and all the rest of it. But it also allows me to put up that fault screen, another screen that I've pre-programmed in, because occasionally I like to record stuff on this camera just for putting out in my videos, and I can record via this setup as well. So I've got another screen where I can lose all the advertising and stuff. So let me just show you that. It's called my piece to camera screen. There we go. I'll hit it now, and it loses all the logos and stuff. This is what I sometimes do some recording on. Hopefully that looks good as well, but I won't leave that on, because in fact that gives me a chance to say, if I go back to that screen, just to thank my sponsors, Custom Fit Guards, who sponsor this particular video and my bike news video. So thanks to those guys, and that's why I've got their logo in the corner. Do go and check out their website, customfitguards.co.uk. Don't forget you can get a discount on their earplugs if you're in the market for some. Mention Flyer 10, you get 10% off. If you mention it at a show, you sometimes get double discount. Don't tell them I told you that. Anyway, the reason why I mentioned them specific at this moment is because they came and saw me last week, last Thursday I think. They came and interviewed me actually for their YouTube channel. They're just starting a YouTube channel. I think it's called Team CFG. The interview hasn't gone up yet. I'll let you know when it goes up, but it was great fun doing it, mainly because they're much more professional than I am, and they came with a cameraman. So actually being in my garage, speaking, having an interview with an actual cameraman, it was almost bizarre. So that'll be up on their channel fairly soon. Hopefully it came out all right. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll let you know when that one's up, so you can go and check that one out as well and see how that operates. Right, let me just have a look at the live stream. James, hi. Just regarding jackets and trousers, I have a Klim Latitude, which are excellent, but their jackets were an awful fit. Okay, so got to make sure you get the thing fit. I mean, this is where, you know, buying things like jackets, and we talked about helmets earlier, this is where buying off the internet is a dangerous thing, isn't it? I'm a big fan, if you're buying kit, go to a local dealer, try the stuff on and buy it from them. If you try it on and you're getting value out of them, then you owe it to them, I think, to buy the kit from your local dealer. Also, it means they might stay open rather than just keep buying via the internet. I mean, once you've bought say a showy helmet and you know they fit you, you can then buy them from the internet relatively safely, because the chances are the same size will always fit you, and that's what I've done. But when I first try a new make of helmet or kit, go to a shop, buy it from there, would be my advice. Okay, what else we got coming up on the live stream? James Thompson, for the jacket I bought Revit Dominator GTX, superb. So there, a thumbs up then for the Revit. Mr. Super Duke, they also interviewed Chops. They did indeed. They got to him first. So it's a similar sort of thing as you may have saw with Chopsy. They've done with me. They're doing it with some others as well. Okay, what else we got coming up? Adrian says a raw Jordanian. I think that was in. I saw half a question about who's this RJ guy. Who is RJ? He's only the biggest UK vlogger out there. By the way, I'm the second biggest in terms of views, but let's not boast about that too much. TMF's GS 5k at least with all the extras. What are you saying, Martin? You're going to give me $5,000 for it? Think again, mate. Miguel, any advice for someone who is about to buy the Triumph Tiger 1200 XRT? I'm so in love with it. Well, I'm sorry to say this, Miguel. My advice would be don't. I personally found the Triumph Tiger, unless you're a very big fella, I'm not particularly big. I'm only 5'8" and a bit wimpy, and I just found it too heavy. The headline figure of the weight may be the same or less than, say, a BMW GS, but the way it carries its weight is very up top. For me, it felt ponderous. Whenever I stopped, the bike wanted to fall over. They're great bikes technically. I love Triumphs. I'm a Triumph fan. I don't want to diss them in any way, but for me, that is a lardy old bike. If you haven't tried, and again, I would say this when if you haven't tried riding a BMW GS, try it. Just feel the way the weight feels different than the Tiger, would be what I'd say. There are Tiger fans out there. But the reason why GSs outsell everything else by a massive margin, you know, there is a good reason why that is. So if you haven't tried a GS, try one. If you still like the Tiger, go for it. There's nothing wrong with them. Great technology. I love Triumphs. Fantastic brand. Beautiful looking bike. It's got everything you need on it. It's just pretty lardy. What else we got coming up? Rucker gloves. Excellent, says Matt. 8:03 now, have we? Oh my word, yes, 8:03. Thank you for that little hint. I keep forgetting to check to see. It's another bit of the screen I have to look at. KTM 790 Adventure Test, says Lewis, question mark. Am I going to ride one? I assume it is. And the good news is, yes, I am going to ride. Not only am I going to ride one, but KTM very kindly have said they're going to lend me one for a couple of weeks. And I think I'm picking it up next week. I may be wrong. If KTM are watching, I've just frightened them. Don't worry, I can't remember. But I think I might be picking it up next week. So So quite soon you'll be seeing the KTM 790 Adventure videos. I really enjoyed the normal 790, the 790 Duke. That was a nice bike. I had that last year, so really looking forward to riding the Adventure version, which at certain angles, initially I didn't like the look of it with that little screen. I thought it looked a bit odd, but at certain angles it looks quite purposeful. So I'm thinking that might be a really good real world quote adventure bike. If you want to actually go around the world on an adventure bike, that's going to feel a bit lighter than a big 1200 Tiger, and might be excellent. So yeah, looking forward to riding that one. That is something I'm really looking forward to. What else we got? Jonathan, hi Tim F, hope you're well. Looking to upgrade my R1200R to twin tone air horn. Do you have any recommendations? Kind regards, Jonathan Lynn. Well, I've got the what the heck's that one I've got called now? I've forgotten what it's called. There's basically, somebody will remind me in a minute what it's called. I've got that the two-tone horn. It's as loud as heck, and I can't for the life of me remember what it's called, but somebody I'm sure will remember and tell me in a minute. Cardo Pack Talk or Senna, says Plymouth Jana. Well, I've just installed the Cardo Pack Talk actually on my Array Tour X4, and I've done that because I used the Senna. Did I have the Senna before? I think I did. I did that because it's got a special new way of doing communication. It has like built-in mesh technology. Everybody seems to be using that. When I do a group ride next, I'm going to want to be using that. So I've gone that route. The Cardo seems to be the one to go for because of that new mesh technology that's in there. Haven't used it a lot in earnest yet. It's mainly for when I do more group rides. So stay tuned. I'll report back on that. Denali Sound Bomb. Thank you, Segura. That's the one. I've got the Denali Sound Bomb. It sounds like when you hit it, it sounds like a freight train. It's really loud. It's pretty good. Bit of a faff to fit. I've got a video on fitting it if you're interested. It actually fits underneath the forks on a special bracket. It's quite expensive as well. But yeah, a worthy upgrade. What else have we got? James, Cardo Pack Talk, fantastic bit of kit. Glad you think that, James. Everybody says the same, so I'm looking forward to getting to know it a bit better. Video coming soon. Rod, great news. Thinking of trading my 1290 GT for a 790. Need a decent review. Hopefully I can give you that, Rod. We'll see. It'll be one of my typical real-world type things. I'll do an initial review, and then I'll get to know the bike and tell you a bit about it. Then I'll do a long-term, well, more in-depth one when I talk about servicing and riding it in different conditions, all that sort of thing. I may even get to do a bit of a decent ride on it somewhere and use it for a while properly. Z900 RS Cafe versus Speed Cup, says Max Moore. Goodness me, that is one of the easiest questions ever. Z900. I don't actually like the Cafe Racer look. I don't particularly like the Speed Cup or the RS Cafe. I like the normal Z900 RS. But if the Cafe Racer version is anything like the normal Z900 RS to ride, then it's an absolutely stonking bike. Nothing against the Speed Cup in terms of its riding. It rode fine, in fact, and it sounds lovely as well. But you mean the Street Cup, don't you? Yeah, the Z900 is much nicer bike, I think, in my opinion. It is only, all this stuff is only ever my opinion. Don't trust me. Go and try these bikes out for yourself. Any more scooter reviews, says Barton, new rider. Got some planned. There's rumour of an electric scooter, something called the new NIU, which I'm really excited to ride. I almost got my hands on it 6 weeks ago, and I need to just give that one a little nudge because that should be coming. And also I think there's a BMW scooter that I've got my eye on as well, so there are some more scooter reviews coming. I love all bikes and I love riding all bikes, so I'll certainly be doing more scooter reviews, don't worry about that. What else we got question wise? I better do some off my list in a second. Just past my mod 1, says Sinjin. The odds on a review of a new CB650R, the odds are very high indeed. He says, actually, no, take that back. It's a CBR 650R I'm going to be reviewing. Honda are going to lend me the new 650 sports bike version of that bike. It's just pretty much the same engine in different clothes, though. So stay tuned to the channel. I'm going to be talking much more about the Honda 650s. They've been getting rave reviews, so I think I need to have a go on one of those myself. So yeah, they are coming. How are we doing for time? 10 to 9. All right, I better do some Parish Notices in a minute. Let me just get through a couple more of these questions from these lists. Otherwise, I'll never get them done. Here we go. Jeff Hode, hello Jeff, he says, hi Tim F, are you planning to do a video on how you set your cameras up on the bike at all? Simple answer, no. And the reason why that is, Jeff, is because I've already done one. If you Google something like how to set up a helmet for motorcycle vlogging, if you put those words into Google, you should bring up my review. I did it a while back, just talked about how I set up my cameras and stuff. So it's not really a video on cameras setting up on my bike, because I tend not to have bike mounted cameras except for one facing my face occasionally, but it's all about how I set up the mic and do the camera on the helmet and all that kind of stuff, so check that out. so I'm not doing a new one because I've already done it. Next one from this list, the 333, hello to you, says, do you think the Street Triple RS is a good bike to move into as a second bike from a Honda CB 500F? 100% I do. I think that would be an excellent second bike. Some people say Street Triples are great as a first bike. I disagree. I think they're too powerful as a first bike. But as a second bike, absolutely fantastic step up. You're going to love it. Nothing wrong with the CB 500F, but the Street Triple RS is a different sort of animal. You're going to love that, so go for it. One last one here for now from Adrian Rigby. Hello, Adrian. Haven't heard from you for a while. Hi, TMF. After your travels with the other vloggers, are you now happier riding in a group, or do you still prefer solo riding? Good question, that. And I think I've been consistent on this. I've got nothing against riding in groups, and riding with the other guys on that trip, and indeed last week in Tuscany I was in a group there. It was great. There are upsides of riding in a group and downsides. The upsides of riding in a group in particular are when you get to the hotel at night, whatever, you can have a few beers and you've got a bit of a social life built in. That's all good, and there's the camaraderie, the banter, all that sort of stuff is great about riding in a group. The thing that's pants about a group is you have to do what the group wants, so you're not in control of it unless you're leading the group, and invariably you're always in a group with differing abilities and riding styles and speeds. So if you've got somebody that's really slow in your group, you're going to have to ride at their pace, or you're going to be forever waiting for them. That is a real pain. Similarly, if you're the slow one, you're forever trying to catch up with everybody else, and that's a nightmare. That's dangerous, and you're going to be annoying everyone else. So on balance, I personally, if I'm doing a tour, when I go on tours, one of the reasons why I have motorbikes is I enjoy using the bike to go places. It's not just about the bikes themselves. So I like to see places, I like to stop, I like to take photographs, I like to put my drone up, make some videos, all that sort of stuff, stop in lots of coffee shops, have nice meals, just take in the view, maybe have a sleep, whatever. So for me, if I'm touring, I prefer to go solo, I think, in the round, because by the end of the day, I'm knackered anyway and just want to go to bed anyway. And usually, if you're on a bike, you can find somebody to have a chat to in the pub in the evening. It's not a problem. Does that make me just sound like an antisocial git? So I'm not saying I'll never do group rides again. I certainly will, and I'm really hoping I'll do more rides with those guys, because we had great fun. But there are pros and cons of each, and on balance, if I had to say which I preferred, I think I prefer solo. I know many people don't, but there you go. That's my views on that. Right, back to the live stream then. 809 watching now. That's amazing. Oh, it's just gone down as I said that. Lost a few. But another 195 to go till I reach me 1,000. It's going to be a few years before I get there, isn't it? Anyway, what we got coming up then? Darren Broadbent, what video editing software do you use? I use software on my PC, which may be not the best way to go. It's called Power Director. It's not very good. I wouldn't really recommend it. I use it because it's the first one I learnt to use, having now put the effort into learning it. That's the one I use. I recently upgraded actually to the latest version of Power Director because I've been on a really old version for ages. It cost me quite a lot to upgrade, and frankly I haven't seen much improvement. Just some of the icons have changed. It still does all the same thing. So I use Power Director on the PC. If you're on a Mac, use something else. Or even if you're on a PC and you're starting out, I think if I were doing this again from scratch, I'd go with one of the Adobe ones. Adobe Premiere, is it called? Anyway, one of those industry-leading ones would probably be the way to go. You can do much more flash things. You'll notice that my videos are never very flash on the editing. One, because I don't have much skill when it comes to editing. And two, I just don't have the capability within the software that I've got to do some of these fancy graphics and things that you see people doing. So my videos are always going to be very basic editing. The sort of thing that you see is as advanced and as complex as I get. So there you go. Sorry about that. Right, what else we got? Colin Vincent, Pinnacle is quite good and sensible cost. Thank you, Colin. Good recommendation. Just did my CBT today, says Anthony. What 125 do you recommend? I like the retro style. Well, there's lots of 125s retro style. If you're willing to go down the Chinese route, I've got nothing against Chinese bikes, particularly if you're just learning for a short period on one. My favourite ones are things like the Sinis Scrambler. Done some reviews on that. Check out if you Google Sinis Scrambler review, you'll find my reviews on that. That's a great little bike. And as I mentioned at the start of the live stream, there's a company called Bullet. I think they might be French. They make an amazing looking 125 retro Bullet Scrambler. Check those out as well. Those are my favourite looking 125s. If you just want something that's going to be reliable, you don't have to worry about looking after too much and you don't really care what it looks like, then just get a Yamaha YBR 125 and you're done. And then you can sell it on second hand. There'll be some residual value, which you may not get that with the likes of the Chinese bikes. Although don't listen to all the naysayers that say Chinese are rubbish. If you look after the bikes, and if you buy one with a warranty anyway, many of them now come with 2-year warranties. Even if you binned it at the end of 2 years, you would have got your value out of it. So there you go. That's my view on that one. Doc Green, electric bike comparisons. Wouldn't that be good? Unfortunately, electric bikes are still quite rare, quite hard to get hold of. So for me to do a comparison, I'm not sure how I could ever arrange that, because I'm just not going to get two at the same time. It's rare for me to get one, so probably not going to come yet. What else we got? Nigel, review Ninja 650 TMF. Ooh, crikey. Yeah, I haven't ridden that many Kawasaki's. I've got a thing about the green colour. But again, 650, great sweet spot of power, ideal for the road. I would like to ride that one, I must say. Mutt Motorcycles, great retro 125, says Craig. Yeah, I've ridden the Mutt as well, which is a great little bike as well. Similar sort of thing. CB125R, of course, Brill. All those 125s are great. What else have we got coming up here? Don't buy Chinese, they have a life of 2 years max, says Foxy MG. But again, if you've got a 2-year warranty, and they're so cheap to buy anyway, you could write it off after 2 years. And have you ever ridden one, I ask? I've ridden lots of them, and they're not all, some are better than others, but some are perfectly good. You know, you just got to look after them. Honda Monkey, says William. No, I haven't got any plans for them. To be honest, it might just be me. Everybody raves about the Honda Monkey bikes, don't they? I know RJ loves them, and others have done videos on them. It doesn't do it for me. I think you look ridiculous riding them, frankly. I don't know if it's because I wasn't into motorbikes when they came around first time. I never had a monkey bike or had any desire to have one. I think you look ridiculous riding them. I mean, I have seen the new one up close, and it looks beautifully made and everything else. I've got nothing against the build quality, nothing against Hondas. Just not for me, the monkey bike, I'm afraid. If somebody said, you know, you can, you know, have a go on one, I'd love to have a go on one just to see what all the fuss is about. Maybe I'd be converted, but as a priority bike for me to ride, it's not up there in my list, I'm afraid. So no. What else we got? Terra Adventure 125, new adventures, is saying. Adrian Rigby, the content speaks for itself, as does your sub count. Thank you, Adrian. Very kind. Rutger, Suzuki Katana someday. Funny you should mention that, Rutger. I was just talking to Lamb Chop Rides about that before the live stream. I'm trying to remember what this is called then for a minute. Yes, I will ride one at some point, but again, a bit like the monkey bike. It doesn't mean anything to me from a historic point of view. The original Katana, I wasn't around in biking when that thing was out there, so I don't have any historical ties to it. And the pictures I've seen of it, although in some angles it looks better than others, what is it? It just looks horrible. I've seen some reviews of it. I'm sure it's a great bike to ride. I do love Suzuki 1000cc bikes, so I would love to have a go at one, just see what it's like to ride. But I can't see me. Well, I certainly wouldn't buy one, I don't think, because the looks of it just doesn't do anything for me. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm wrong here and I'm an outie and, you know, whatever. No, so I will ride a Katana, definitely. There's a launch going on in a couple of weeks' time, which I actually turned down because I just thought I'm going to struggle to say good things about it. So there we are. Bib the Builder. Oi, how about reviewing a few old classics? This comes up all the time, Bib. I'd love to review some old classics. The issue is, how do I get hold of them? My attempt at doing this was a series I did a while back, which isn't dead yet, by the way. I'll do some more, called Reader's Rides. The idea was I'd ask you, if you've got a classic, to come and bring it to my garage, and we'd have a look at it. And I've got a playlist called Reader's Rides. Go and have a look at that, see the sort of format I was doing. That was my way of trying to ride some old classics. As it turned out, most people brought beautiful exotics, which was lovely. I didn't get the old classics I was sort of expecting. So maybe I'll do some more of them if some old classics pop up. There's all sorts of issues with doing that, to do with logistics mainly. You know, it only works really if the people live locally to me. If our timetables coincide, it's quite hard to get times when people can do this stuff. And you'd be surprised how long it takes. I think those Reader's Rides, if you speak to all the guys that have done those, it's at least half a day's work to get those done. And it's, you know, it's difficult for me to ask somebody to give up half a day of their time to come and help me make a video at the end of the day. But yeah, I'd love to ride some. There may be some other ways I could do it. If I could find a dealer that would lend me second-hand bikes, that would be great. A local dealer that sold second-hand bikes, I could give them some airtime and I could ride them. That would be good. I have got one or two things in the pipeline that might help you out on that. For example, I'm going to be riding soon an old-ish Honda. Oh, crikey, my memory. Doing these things on the fly is a nightmare. I have a terrible memory at the best of times. But anyway, there are some older bikes coming up soon, and I'll keep trying to do some more. Right, let's have a little look. How about an interview of RJ, says China Driving Observations. I have spoken to RJ about this. Well, not spoken to him, but we've exchanged emails on this. I nearly got him lined up for a Meet the Vlogger. He's a very private individual, and I thought he was going to go for it. Oh, thank you, Will. Very kind of you. Thank you, sir. Let me read that question. Oh, can't quite read it. I'll look at that and pick it up next week, Will, I promise, or next time. So in the end, for reasons I completely understand, RJ said that he didn't want to do the Meet the Vlogger with me. It's to do, you know, because we were going to do it with his helmet on because he doesn't want to show his face, and he was just uncomfortable about the privacy aspects. I completely get that. I have a lot of issues myself with, there are some strange people on the internet that want to do and say strange things to you. I completely understand that this isn't for everyone. So it's all to do with that. So unfortunately, I won't be doing a Meet the Vlogger with RJ, but I have tried. Picture quality gone naff, says Plymouth Jana. Anyone else think that? From what I can tell, everything's still looking the same. But anyway, oh, it's nearly 9 o'clock. I better wrap this up. Okay, let's do the parish notices then. Just a couple of things. Some of these I've already mentioned, so I won't have to go over them again. Next live stream, it's been on the little ticker thing below. Monday, May the 20th at 8 o'clock UK time. Make a note in your diary. It'll be good. I've still got nearly 800 people watching. Let's try and get that 1,000 if we can. So yeah, Monday, May the 20th, 8 PM UK for that one. Don't forget I am on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm trying to build those presences up because it turns out that you know, if YouTube did something and my channel disappeared, I wouldn't have any way of getting hold of you. So if you follow me on there, that's like an insurance policy. And also, you know, once you're in this sort of social media game, it turns out you really have to be on all these platforms, not just one. So I do post different things on each of those channels. Follow me on each. Instagram tends to be a bit more what I'm up to that day. I post quite a lot on Instagram compared to the others, but if you can follow me on there as well, that would be great. And also that makes me more credible if I'm looking for things like sponsors and stuff. Often people ask you, well, it's all very well having 100,000 YouTube followers, but how many have you got on Instagram? So it's good to build those up. So I'm actively building those. So I said I'll tell you what's coming soon on the Missenden Flyer. So I've had my hands on the Husqvarna Vitpillen. That's the white arrow, not the black one that everybody else is reviewing at the moment. I'm about a year behind. But Husqvarna very kindly lent me one of those for a couple of weeks. So those videos are coming up. Surprised me. I didn't think I was going to like it. I don't really like the looks of it, I thought. But the Vitpillen, that's coming up. 3 videos at least on that. In readiness for my next group tour, I mentioned I've got myself a brand new Cardo Pack Talk. Got a review of that coming up as well very soon. I've got another long overdue video actually on the baby V-Strom, the Wii-Strom 250. I'm not sure why I haven't published this before. It just get put back in my schedule. So it was recorded actually last summer. That's coming up soon. I'll definitely get that out. I've already mentioned that fabulous biker scram with Jeff and Dan. It's in the can, coming on the 2nd of May, complete with that Matisse Workshop look around. Do stick around for that one. I'll do a review of the Scrambler 1100. I've ridden that for the first time down at Blade Motorcycles in Abingdon. That one really surprised me. Again, I'm not a big Ducati Scrambler fan. The 1100 I very much am. And then coincidentally I went on rode it again when I did that tour in Tuscany. So I've had a lot of time on the Scrambler 1100, so watch out for that. Some good old-fashioned vloggage coming, of course. I've got another bike news on Thursday, April the 25th, likely a 2-parter now. I think I'm going to stick with a 2-part format for that. Seems to work quite well. So that's April the 25th. They seem to go quite well. And some bonus stuff as well. And don't forget, again, my little poll I'm doing, my little non-scientific poll about Patreon. Let me know in the comments below if you're watching the recorded version, or indeed in the live stream here while we've still got a few moments of it active, what you think about me doing Patreon. Is that an absolute no-no, or should I do it and see what happens? Again, I won't be forcing it down your throat. It's just something that I think might be a good idea to get me maybe some cash to do a little bike build or some more tours and stuff like that. That would be really interesting to know your views on that. All right, I'll just do a couple more of these comments on the live stream, and then I'll wrap up. So what have we got? Poacher, great stream. 60 minutes, not long enough, says Poacher. Oh, you're so kind, sir. I could sit here all evening doing this. Motor Michelle Scrambler, looking forward to that. Nice to hear from you, Motor Michelle, as well. Great to have another female along. I assuming you're a female. Doing a brilliant job, says Chris, thank you. What else have we got? Marcus, Patreon should be okay. Thank you, Marcus. No to Patreon, says Bandit Man. There you go, you see. Can't win. Patreon, no, says Simon. Lambo, hi mate and everyone, just joined, missed it all. Oh well, Lambo, you can watch the recorded version. It should post up relatively soon. Harley Davidson, do you review them? I would love to. Let's not go there. Yes, I do review them. I just haven't yet, but it's very much on the list. No Patreon, says Ash. I think I'm getting a view that no is the way to go. Versus 1,000 first bike. Too big, I'd say. Quickly whip through these. As long as it's an option, says Keith. Of course, I would never. It would only ever be an option. Nothing would change as far as the Missenden Flyer is concerned. If you don't join Patreon, you'd still get the Missenden Flyer in the same way, with the same regularity. There'd just be some extras if we went the Patreon route. You have been fabulous. Thank you, Craig. 5k for your extras, not your bike. Oh, just for the extras. Okay, Martin. Yeah, that sounds more like it. Maybe a bit over the top, actually. I'm not sure. Lots of people are doing Patreon, says RG Motors. I know. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. I'm not sure how I feel about it. That's why I'm asking. Go for Patreon, says Tim. Yes to Patreon, says Island Sky. Get hold of Del Boys, Harley, says Splodge. See you in May, says Barbara. Oh, fantastic, another female. Patreon is okay, says Mr. Super Duke. I'm getting a real split here, a split opinion. I don't know about this Patreon thing. Enjoy the channel, keep up the good work. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much. Oh, I've gone over. It looks to my clock here like it's a few minutes past 9. So thank you very much indeed for watching. It's been fabulous talking to you. Well, we've got 747 still on, so giving me an hour of your time is just amazing. I love doing these things. Look forward to speaking to you on the next one. Stay tuned. Lots to come. Look forward to speaking to you next time. Till then, this has been the Missenden Fly. Cheerio.